It's not every day that you hear a Bahamian student gets accepted into an Ivy League school. Well, today in the Sunshine Room, we're interviewing a young man to find out more about his journey to Princeton and how his first semester is going.
Hi, my name is Cherkadin Wells and you're watching The Sunshine Room. I'm 18 years old as of last month. I feel like I set a lot of goals that some people might consider a bit lofty. Like, definitely when I set them or first think of them, I think they're pretty out there. But then I just sit down and try to break it down as much as possible, try to figure out the best path or the best way to pursue and to complete and reach what I aspire to be. My favorite basketball player is Stephen Curry, so like he'd have to be on that list for sure. Okay. But like in terms of intellectual, wanting to meet somebody, I would really want to meet Albert Einstein. Like, he's one of the pioneers of New Jersey. When it comes to doing schoolwork so much, a lot of people think that, I don't have fun, or like, where do you have time to do this, or where do you have time to do other things? Usually when I work so hard, like you work so hard for so long, you have to take a break after a while. So after BGCSEs, for example, I definitely went and had a nice summer.
So Cherkadin, tell me, how did you get from Nassau, Bahamas to New Jersey and Princeton at that?
Yes, sir. So my real planning to pursue an Ivy League education started in high school. Primary school, I kind of wasn't worried about where I would be. I wasn't thinking about those kind of things. But started off, I knew I wanted to do something big for BJC. So I intentionally started studying early from grade 7. And I actually started pursuing different courses like outside of the ones that I was already studying in school. And I think having that early desire to do those extra courses also helped my teachers have a little bit of faith to know that I was serious, so that they signed me up for those extra courses. Yeah. Because it also is like it's a signature for them as well as for me to sit the exam. So I ended up getting 12 signatures, which was, first it was daunting. It was like 12, oh my gosh, nobody has ever done 12 before. But then it was like, oh, I have an opportunity that nobody's ever had before. So after that, after the success with BJC, I was like, okay, I've started on the path, but it's definitely not finished. So in grade 10, I tried to do the same thing again. Reached out to my same teachers who had believed in me for BJC, and I asked them what it would be like to try undertaking extra BGCSEs. So from there, I started doing some extra classes in grade 10. Okay. So the summer leading up to grade 10, and then grade 10 throughout the year. So because I would sit the exam in grade 11. Okay. So I did it for a year, so BGCSE is usually 3 years. So I was trying to at least get 2 years of work with the material, like learning, doing practices. I believed in myself as to where I could handle 2 years, a 3-year course in 2 years.
So you go through all of this, you get the good BJC result, the good BGCSE result. It's time to apply, you apply, and you get that letter or email to say that you got into Princeton. How was that moment for you?
I remember it. I had practice that day, so I had just come home from swimming, and my mom had come home from work late. And I hadn't given my mom any of my like admissions information, so I didn't want her to go in before me and see. So we had done a few Ivy Leagues. So we sat down together and we just opened them all. And I remember before we saved Princeton and Harvard for last. Right. So we were opening them and we're seeing some no's, and she's like kind of just like getting down, and it's like, oh gosh, what are we gonna do, right? But then I had known that I had gotten acceptance into Columbia a little earlier. So in my head I'm thinking, okay, Columbia, that's still an Ivy League school, that's a great start, right? So, and then I opened Princeton, and like they do a little confetti thing before the video ever starts. So like you see the confetti, and like I was sitting down and my mom was standing behind me. We just jumped up and started screaming. It was like, oh my gosh, yes, because not only is Princeton like one of the best schools in the United States or even the world, it's also close to my family. Like I have family that lives in New Jersey, so it was really one of those top contenders for me from early on, even before I had other Ivy Leagues in mind.
Okay. So you're excited, you got the approval, the little confetti pops up on the screen, but now September comes and it's time to go to school. So tell me, how was your first semester at Princeton?
Actually, we came into school from August.
From August, okay.
So they gave us a little introduction, which I really appreciate. I mean, it was like 2 or 3 weeks of introduction into the people around the university.
Yeah.
So as an international student, you have international orientation. So about a week before everybody else gets on campus, you get to see. They bring you out to Target. They bring you out to these different places and introduce you to places where you can buy different utensils and things that you need for your dorm room early on before the other students come back. And then they have like team bonding exercises where you get to know your fellow international students, and then again in orientation you get to know everybody else in your freshman year and also those in sophomore and junior and senior. So you really get to know the entire campus body well, and I feel like that's one of the things that I really appreciate about Princeton. It's kind of still like a family.
Okay, so tell me, how was your freshman experience coming from, I know you said QC is your family, but Queens College is a lot smaller than it is, than Princeton is. So tell me about your freshman experience.
Getting used to how big the campus was definitely one of the main things that I had to do. I had to get a bike. Like the campus is on a hill, so it's difficult to walk around, and getting to classes on time. The first week I had to kind of realize that I needed to get up a little bit earlier than I usually do to get to class. So that was one of the main things with the size difference.
Okay. I know you swam a lot back home. Are you swimming at Princeton as well?
Not on the varsity team, but I do swim like often just to exercise. There's a club swim there, so they kind of do similar things to varsity, but it's not as difficult, or like you don't have to conform to the schedule as much.
Okay. And final words, if you had to say anything to any student out there that wants to go to any Ivy League school or college in general, what words would you have to say to them?
I would say it's possible. One of the main things that people I feel like they tend to count us out when we're from such a small country. Anything is really possible once you put your mind to it, and shoot for the stars. I feel like everything, you can achieve everything you set your mind to do.
Cherkadin's story is truly an inspiration for any student out there that has aspirations of taking their education to the next level. We're going to be following his story here in the Sunshine Room, so make sure you stay locked in. As always, thanks for watching and keep shining.